Hi, I'm an Australian living here in Belarus, and today I just want to point out three similarities between Belarusian culture and Australian culture, because these two countries are quite different, man. Like, obviously one is Slavic, old school, ex-Soviet. One is this kind of weird, locked away culture that's kind of European but kind of not. So there's a lot of dissimilarities, I have to say, a lot of dissimilarities. And today I want to talk about three things that are actually similar. Because as I say, there's a lot more dissimilarities than similarities. Even though, again, Belarus is quite European in the scheme of things compared to a lot of her neighbours. But nonetheless, they're very different cultures. So three things that are very common, at least in the lifestyles of Australians and Belarusians. One is the love of the outdoors, love of the warm weather, and love of the water. Belarusians don't get out of bed for 7 months of the year. They just stay home. It's crazy. Obviously, every European climate like this, or northern hemisphere kind of climate like this, will have this feature. People come out more in the summer, but Belarus is like 3x. Like, people really do disappear and then kind of reappear sometime in April, disappear kind of October, November, and then suddenly show up in maybe April or May. It's kind of interesting. And they love water, and they love the warmth, and a lot of these little cities in Belarus have these little kind of some kind of like fake beach on a river, or something similar going on as well. So they really love their outdoors, they love their warmth, love their water. And of course Australia's the same. We're all water babies in Australia. We learn how to swim at a very young age. We're literally an island. We're surrounded by water, it's everywhere. So we're very familiar, very comfortable, and enjoy our short or medium term getaways along the beaches in Australia. So we share these two things in common, very much so. This leads into my second point. My second point is, in Australian culture, we really love the barbecue. Yeah, the barbie, the outdoor barbecue. We get some dead animals and we cook them, essentially, right? Some cows, some lambs, some chickens, whatever it is, right? We barbecue them up, we eat them, some sausages, etc. We barbecue them up, we eat them. There's kind of a whole thing going on there. And it's the same in Belarus. They have their shasliki, which is like kind of like a skewered meat with a skewer in the middle. You have some vegetable in with the meat as well, and you kind of slow turn them as you cook them on an open flame. So very, very similar. A lot of social gatherings, especially at the dacha or outside. A lot of these social gatherings often have a shasliki element to them as well. So that's another thing kind of in common. And the third thing is more of a cultural thing, right? More of a cultural thing, and that is that both cultures are quite polite. You get a lot of politeness. They're not kind of in your face, emotional, erratic. Both cultures tend to be a bit more relaxed. It's like, okay, relax, it's okay. Be polite, be civil, be orderly, queue, this kind of stuff. Probably Belarus more so than Australia, actually, but nonetheless, they both kind of share this civility. They're both civil places. They're not wild, they're not crazy. People kind of respect each other. Kind of orderly and polite, at least on the surface anyway, are very orderly and polite. This is something more at a cultural level that is similar between Belarus and Australia. And look, I'm glad there's not 4 things I have to think of, because thinking of 3 was pretty hard, I'll be honest. But nonetheless, if you are interested in Belarus or this part of the world in general, you may want to watch a few more of my videos to get to know the culture here. Have a look around. See what it's like in this very secluded and isolated country, and it has been like this for probably a century or so. If you enjoyed the video, do click like, it helps me. If you are a subscriber, thank you, I appreciate it. And if you're not, why aren't you? Hit the subscribe button, and then you'll see my next video before anyone else does. Here's some B-roll footage for you guys. It's a bit of fun today, going to play some tennis. This is, it used to have a different name, a formal name, basically the National Tennis Center. Now on Google Maps it just says Minsk Tennis, but you'll find it here in Minsk. It's got some indoor and outdoor courts. Tennis is kind of expensive here. It's interesting because in Belarus the government subsidizes a lot of fine art stuff, so you can go to the ballet and see an amazing professional performance in an absolutely exquisite Bolshoi theater, and it's only like $10. Yeah. Whereas you go to like a kino theater, like a normal movie theater, and it's like maybe $8, right? There's barely any difference between going to the ballet and going and watching some crappy Hollywood film in the shopping centre. Whereas tennis here, it probably costs more than that actually. So for an indoor court, you got to pay around 45, 50 rubles an hour, which is pushing $20 an hour US. It's pretty expensive, you know. We're going to play outdoors today. It's not bad weather at the moment. We'll pay 20 rubles for the court for 1 hour, which is about $8 US. So a bit more affordable, but still quite pricey, you know, compared to, 2-hour professional top-level ballet show, which would cost only about the same or a little bit more. You know, it's kind of unusual. Whereas in Australia, it's the opposite. Ballet and stuff are not subsidised, so it can cost several $100s for a decent ticket to a decent show. Whereas sports are subsidised often. My tennis club I used to play for back in Australia, we would just pay about maybe 150 US for the year, and just unlimited play. Played competition, played socially, access to a whole lot of other stuff. That's kind of interesting to see the differences in the culture there and what government wants to get involved in. But nonetheless, we're here. I'm going to have a look around, just waiting for my buddy. I might just walk down and show you a couple of things while I wait for my friend. And let's get my water bottle here. I'll turn you around and just show you a little bit at the moment. Let's go in the side entrance here. It's all very well landscaped. Give you a good shot of the actual building itself. A kind of funky colour scheme. You often get some funky colour schemes at this part of the world. Dvorec tennis. And away we go. So let's have a bit of a wander. So inside there are indoor courts, of course. And this was all dug up. I came here, played here about maybe 2 months ago. And this was all dug up and being replanted and re-landscaped and whatever. And obviously it's done now, looking good. As always, very typical landscaping in these countries. Very simple landscaping, you know. Very easy to maintain. Few plants, few trees, mainly grass. It's very typical of the parks here. Very typical structure. So they're building some apartments on the other side there. So this is like the National Tennis Centre. This is, I'm pretty sure there's a ATP tournament here, if you know much about tennis. So ATP is the Men's Association of Tennis Professionals. It's the men's highest level professional league. So you got the 4 Grand Slams, Wimbledon, French, Aussie and US Opens for, must be for 2,000 points, 2,000 ranking points. Then you got the Masters 1,000 events, the next 9 down from that. Then you got 500-point tournaments. Then you got 250-point tournaments. And I'm pretty sure they have a 250-point tournament here. So this is kind of your fringe players. They're still professional. It's not futures or it's not challengers. It's still full professional. There we have it. So you actually got some chairs here. And obviously Victoria Azarenka has been number 1 for a long time, on and off. One of the famous grunters during her matches. She's obviously Belarusian. Well, not obviously, but you may not be aware, but she's Belarusian. And they haven't had many good male players. They had Max Murney, who was a doubles player. He's got his own tennis academy here in Belarus, in Minsk as well. There's another guy going around at the moment, Ilya, I don't know, someone. He's ranked in the top 100 anyway, but so you can see this is obviously made for spectators. It's a bit weathered on the inside here. But I will play on one of these courts today. There's quite a few of those. There's another 2 up there. There's some clay courts as well, some Monte Carlo clay courts further up. But mainly these kind of, I'm not sure what exactly, just, quote unquote hard court. I'm not sure exactly what it's made of. I'll see. These hard courts have evolved quite a bit over the years in terms of what they make them from. So we'll go down for a bit of a hit. You can see there sector seats, so it's pretty professional. These nice little tennis decoration stuff here. So let's take you for a walk around. I'm just, as I say, waiting for my buddy who's telling me he's 15 minutes late. So actually, might as well just go in now. Save me filming later. Show you a bit more of this outdoor area. As I say, this was all being just dug up last time we came here. It was all just dug up and it was all a big construction mess. So this time you can kind of walk around without being inhibited. So if you're a bit of a tennis fan, yell out, because as I walk up here, I'm having flashbacks of different tennis tournaments I've been to around the world, and I've been to quite a few. Obviously the Australian Open, I've literally lived about 5 kilometres from Melbourne Park there for years and years and years. So I've been in the Australian Open probably 10 times. A lot of tournaments in America. When I lived in America, I followed summer season one year. Went to Newport, Washington. So Newport's in Rhode Island. It's the only grass court tournament outside of out of Europe, outside of Europe. And then went to the 500-point tournament in Washington. And then went down to Atlanta as well. And then eventually Flushing Meadows out there in the outskirts of Queens. Second last stop on the metro there. So this one's obviously a bit more updated. These seats are in better nick. See, these red seats are quite new, they're quite shiny. The green ones are a bit old and faded there. You guys can probably hear that thumping in the background. You got the construction here on what looks like, it's hard to say, isn't it, what it will be, given how round it is. I mean, that could still be a residential potentially. Maybe some kind of mixed use. Here we have some Ontakar clay courts here. 1, 2, 5 courts. So I grew up playing on these in Australia, and geez, they're a real pain in the ass. You got to water them and bag them. Like, see that sweepy thing there? You can see that there. After every set, you got to kind of water it and clean up all the sand and make the sand all even. It's a real pain in the ass. You get dusty, dirty shoes, but it's an interesting relic of the past. Obviously, makes for a lot slower tennis. The ball kind of bounces a bit more. Things are slowed down. You got to really generate your own pace a lot more. So it's kind of more like a chess game, you know, when you play on this kind of court. It's slower. You're just kind of slowly grinding away on the angles. I haven't really got the patience for it, to be honest. You got to be bloody fit, that's for sure. If you want to play a lot of clay court tennis, you got to be fit as. But yeah, pretty cool scenery. There's a few more up here as well. Some more hard courts. Some more just, when I say hard courts, I think they are literally just cement with paint on them. So these guys, who we got here? I don't know these Belarusian guys. I can't make out this guy either, actually. Can't quite tell. There's some photos inside of a Davis Cup tie versus Spain, and they got like photos of Verdasco, Ferrer, that kind of generation of guys. Feliciano Lopez, these kind of fellas. Some random hot girl. A few more photos here. It does look like obviously a hard court painted. That would have seemed to be that court there with the green and red things there. BNB Paribas, they're a big sponsor of tennis. You got the old tennis ball up there. She's seen better days. So you got a bit of infrastructure. You got the big floodlights there to play some nighttime tennis as well. So yeah, a bit of money invested here, some capital here. And yeah, a couple more over this side. Oh, look at that. That one's cut off there. Because of construction, what's going to go on there? It's a bit controversial. And oh goodness, I didn't even notice. These things have got little soccer goal things. God knows what it's used for now. Obviously not tennis. Yeah, we'll see what happens in the future with that. Maybe this is what they're doing over here. They seem to be doing something over here as well in terms of construction. Might be some parking or something. It's hard to say. All right, I might go back because I'm using my phone to film, and my buddy's probably messaging me saying, "Where are you? Let's play." So yeah, do feel free to comment below. What tournaments have you been to? You got some good memories of going to some professional tournaments around the world? Let me know. I don't really follow tennis much nowadays, to be honest. I feel like it's a bit of a novelty if you got the time to be able to follow it. I think as those better players disappear, obviously Federer just retired the other day, although he's obviously been struggling with injury and so forth for many years. Murray's barely played a match for about 5 years, and his style of tennis means that he needs to play a lot of matches to get anywhere near his best. Nadal and Djokovic kind of hanging in there. But as I say, you probably know better than I do, if you follow the sport at all in recent years, what's going on. Australia's a very sporty nation. So we're only a small country. We only have 25, 26 million people, but we all play sport. And often several sports at the same time. So we do tend to do well in sport around the world. And, you know, tennis is like our number 7 sport. Like, most of the guys want to play Australian rules football, which is popular in the south, or rugby league, to a lesser extent union, which is more popular in the north. Then you got guys that want to play soccer or European football. So you got all kind of competition. In the end, there's not many guys wanting to play tennis. So it's a surprise we've done so well in tennis. But what you'll notice is the guys that play tennis that are good are often just little guys. You know, they can't really play footy. They're just going to get crunched. So little guys like Leighton Hewitt is a good example of that. Small, skinny, slim guys. There's quite a few of them around at the moment playing professional tennis. So we do have a presence. We've got a long history of playing tennis in Australia. Indeed, it was my grandfather, my maternal grandfather, who introduced me to the game. And there you go. But yeah, I'll go back towards the front. And I'll show you inside as well. I'll film inside, get a bit of a sense of what's happening in the tennis centre here. There's quite a few private tennis centres around Minsk, sprinkled around, but it is a bit of an elitist sport here at the end of the day. And as I say, the government is subsidising a lot of ballet and a lot of fine arts, which I think is fantastic, to try and keep these alive and viable. I think it's really important to have this kind of strong cultural identity. I really enjoyed during the ballet season going to a lot of these places. Here's my friend now. All right, we'll go inside. Do you want to go inside? And we'll go through the motions. I'll just film it. I've just been filming for 10 minutes, just kind of walking around and just chit-chatting and speaking some shit. See what's going on. Oh, racket. Did you have a racket last time?
Yeah.
Oh, you did? I thought you just gone from there.
Yeah, I brought two last times. I wasn't sure if you ended up buying one, but you told me how much you paid for it.
It's so funny because I paid 200 rubles and it's shit. Like, it's really just shitty. But I went to Sportsmaster website to check how much it is now because I'll probably just try and sell it on Kufa. And then
way more?
I see, no, it's not there anymore. But I went to the Bablo website and it's only 140 rubles now. It's like, fuck, got scammed.
I got mine like 15 years ago. I don't know how much.
Oh, Jesus.
Good racket.
Looks pretty good. Yeah, it does look good.
Old bag.
There's a lot of detail in the bag, which probably says it's a good racket. Oh, it's a Wilson.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's pretty good. Yeah. Jesus, light.
Yeah.
It's so light, man. Yeah. All right, let's go in. We'll just looks like the rain's holding off for now.
Yeah,
That should be all right.
40 minutes from now.
So it looks like they've actually dug up two of the back courts there. They've lost a couple of courts. There's still the two that we played on last time. But all right. Well, that's the address, by the way. Let me just zoom in on this, just in case you're struggling. I think it is Minsk Tennis. If you just look at that on the map, if you want to come here. But 63 Prospect Peramotstayo. Get amongst it. Again, if you just type in Minsk Tennis, I reckon you'll be able to find the place if you don't know where it is.
There's some karate people in there right now.
Oh, really?
I didn't know they did martial arts here.
As well.
I don't know what kind? They're just wearing gis, so not typical MMA.
The old school cleaning brush there. Look at that one. So as I recall, last time we went that way where that guy's going.
We went down there or down
I think
there.
this way, yeah. We'll do a Yui here. They're doing something. You want to just, I wouldn't mind just going up there and just sticking my camera in, having a bit of a sticky beat. Protocol entry, spectators, entry. All right, let's not try and upset the apple cart too much, but let's have a bit of a squeeze. What's going on there? Oh, wow. Look what we have. As pointed out, a karate thing going on here, some kind of karate competition. Wow. It's like a couple of different teams. They've got the same tracksuit on, these guys. Cool. Nice way to spend a Sunday afternoon. Sunday morning, should I say? Otsebia from me. From you. Right, so we'll go in, we'll get the okay from the ladies. So, it doesn't matter too much, unless you want camera shy.
I just meant for your
Assume you
video.
don't. Well, this is a B-roll, so there won't be a lot of people watching this stage. It's gone 15 minutes as well. Hello if you are watching. Here we are, proper level. for the karate stuff going on. Oh, got the meds here just in case something goes wrong. But last time we went in this office here, see what this lady's doing. Alright, I'll put you on pause. Just before we get out here, where do we start? I remember last time I saw, this is a good one here. So this is the one I mentioned earlier. So you got the Belarus team there, who I don't know any of these guys, but the Spanish team here are you can tell, very youthful looking. Fernando Verdasco, David Ferrer, Feliciano Lopez, who I met in Melbourne actually. You can tell very youthful looking. I'd say this is maybe year 2005 or something, quite early. This guy, what's his name?
I don't know. I don't follow tennis.
I do know this bloke. I forget him now. He retired before these ones. Sorry.
That one guy is dressed really nice in the center.
Look at all these blokes. Got the president there.
Yeah.
Politicians love to get their heads into these things, don't they? See what we got here. Victoria Azarenka Victoria, and Norni Max. Obviously, she's been number one for years and years and years across the time. And he was, I think, like top 10 doubles for quite some time. As I said before, he has his own tennis centre now, I know, here in Minsk. I don't think I know any of these other players. Gavira, Dimitri, I don't know any of these other players. But a little bit of I love these timelines, because you know this would have been that kind of crazy time in ex-Soviet history. Yeah, these countries are just crazy, especially the first half of that, just mayhem, nothing functioning.
I've heard from a lot of people it's actually pretty good, because when you don't have any government, there's actually some plus sides to it too.
That's interesting.
Unrestricted business, no taxes.
Oh, there you go. That's true. You probably need some guns though to protect your business.
Yeah, I've heard lots of different things. I guess it just depends on how lucky you got, where exactly you were.
All these old tennis players. This is the absolute Soviet era, right? That's the heart and soul of the Cold War there, 65 to 80. But most of these, I think the WTA and the ATP didn't start until kind of mid-60s or something. I think it was less organised. I think maybe sometime in the mid-60s or even mid-70s, around that range, was roughly when the ATP and WTA were formed, just from very rough memories. Oh, there's a lot of history here. Good. And he speaks English, or you guys speak in Russian?
Russian.
And you study here, don't you?
Yeah, but all in English.
It's all in English. Okay, yeah.
So my Russian's horrible, because I always speak English. And my English gets worse because I'm always speaking English with non-native speakers.
Yes.
So I start to do these weird word patterns. Right now I'm doing pretty
That's
good
what I'm
speaking
doing.
normal.
That's exactly what I'm doing. I've noticed that my vocabulary is just shrinking like crazy.
Like, oh,
and my grammar's
such a big
fucked.
progress you made. Like that's not correct. That's not how you should say it.
Yeah, I'm doing the same thing. I'm glad someone else is going crazy as well. I've noticed there's things like like single plural, like is and are, like these is instead of these are, or just things like this.
Yeah,
like
I started doing that like 6 months
wacky.
ago.
And because all you hear is the broken like Russian grammar with English words,
Yeah,
you just go here.
may as well.
One day I think better go down this way.
Different entrance.
Oh, where is the entrance?
Or we can just go down here and walk over the little wall.
Can we? I think it's going to be a bit of a drop actually. I remember coming down last time.
Oh, we went down those.
Must have been this one here, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I am terrible. I forget what the grammar is, because you hear the same mistakes out of Belarusians' mouths so often that you internalize that mistake.
And you can't do anything about it. Your brain adapts, and you know that that's what they're going to understand. So when you speak back to them,
That's true.
you use the patterns they use, so they understand what you're saying.
Yeah, that's what I was doing at the start as well. Now it's just automated.
My wife is always telling me just speak normal to them, and I'm like, my brain just does it automatically.
And you can't speak normal
They don't
because
understand it.
yeah, I mean our grammar is quite complex in English. To be fair, like if you want to have like a 30-word sentence, I mean you can't understand that unless you're absolutely fluent. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Also, my professors, they make certain mistakes, and I know what kind of mistakes they make, and it actually really obstructs what they're trying to say.
Oh, really?
One common one is instead of, like, it has a resolution up to 1 millimeter, they'll say it has resolution. So I actually did the opposite, but instead of saying it can only see things after 1 millimeter, like larger than 1 millimeter,
Mm-hmm.
they'll say it has a resolution from 1 millimeter.
Ah, yeah.
So you think it's the opposite.
So it's the
You think
opposite.
anything bigger than it.
So, this is the one we played it last time. I do remember.
Yeah.
And what's going on? Just a random little thing there.
I think that might have been there last time. I remember there were nets. Maybe it was this net.
Yeah, the middle net. Yeah, these are always up for the indoor and outdoor courts. Got the old water bottle here, the old 5.5 litre. Check it out.